Hello friends, how are you? This is Lilla in Hawaii. I'm doing a little bit of sewing right now, and I'm making these folded bags. I may have shown you some of them before, but they're really cute and they have multiple uses. They're all made from the same, well, it's not a pattern but just a method, and I thought I would show you how I do it. These three were made with Tim Holtz fabric, and I wanted to use that up because I was given quite a few fat quarters. And so the first little bag, this is the smaller version, same thing, and this one would be good for gift cards maybe, so I thought I'd show you that. And then this one is a little bigger. This one could be for also gift cards, credit cards, actually anything you want. And then this one is much bigger, and this one they all have double pockets, by the way. I'll just show you this one. So that's the lining, and then this is one pocket here. So this would be good for if you collect coupons. You could use it for an embroidery packet with, you could put your threads there and your scissors and so forth there. And well, actually you'll think of the uses. I'm not really about to tell you how to use them, but they're just real handy, and they're so easy to make because there's only one, I wouldn't say it's one seam, but one stitching method. So first of all, you do need some fabric, and you want a lining and an outside, and the quantity really is up to you, but for this particular one I'm going to make it 5.5 inches wide, and then this piece of fabric, which is the outer fabric, is 9 inches, and then of course this is the lining, and you do want a lining that has a reverse that you can sort of easily see, because that helps with turning it. And so that piece is about 12.5 inches long, and of course these can be adjusted, but basically, so I said this was 5.5. Basically you can make it any width you want, any length you want. I would say that the rule of thumb is that the outer fabric should be about 2/3 shorter than the lining. If that makes sense. You can sort of see that there. Not good at explaining that. So the first thing you want to do with this is seam the two pieces, the lining and the outer fabric, together. And I've gone ahead and done that. So what you do is you just sew the lining and the outer fabric together, and then by sewing, you don't sew right across, you just sew about 1.5 inches in from each side, and then put a couple of stitches in the middle and leave the thread on that, because that is actually where you're going to turn it. And by leaving that thread there, you can pull out that, it's kind of like a little basting stitch just in the middle, but that sort of just holds that together. But that's important because that's where you turn when it's all done. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put them with wrong sides together, and you're going to make in your head how deep you would like it to be. So I decided kind of about 3.5 inches, so or maybe less. Actually this is about 3 inches, and then you put the wrong sides together, the seam is here, and then you're going to fold that like so. So that's the beginning. So there you go. So this is where we sewed it together. These are right sides together, and then you put that up like that. And that is the depth of your pocket there, which is actually 3.5 inches. It's 3.5 inches from there to there. So you want that. Then you're going to turn it over, And then you're going to make a series of folds, and this is, some people find this a little bit tricky, so I must say I put a mark on there. Ignore that mark, that has nothing to do with anything, and it won't show it's on the lining. Anyway, so you've got this piece where you folded it up, and this depth here is 3.5 inches, we decided, which is the depth of this little pouch. Then you're going to fold this up so that that's covering the whole thing, and then you're going to fold it down again right there. So now you've got 2 folds there. This is the outer fabric, this is where these 2 are facing. This is the right side of the lining fabric, and you should be looking at 2 folds right now. And then the last thing to do is you're going to bring this, which is the piece that's left over, and you're going to bring that to that. Now you can see that that's not even there, so you want to adjust that. And the way I do it is I put a pin, because this is the flap. This is the flap, and you can see that those will be pockets, but they're not quite right. So that means I'm going to have to adjust the size. So I'm going to adjust, let me see, I'll just adjust that and see if that works better. This can go a little bit like this. You just play with that till you've got 3 folds. Okay, so I've adjusted them because they weren't quite right. So now it should look like this. This is the wrong side of the lining. This is the wrong side of the outer fabric. And to make sure that you have it correct, you should have 1, 2, 3 folded pieces there. And if you look at the sides, these are going to be the pockets. So you'll see there should be 1, 2, 3. Now all that remains to be done, to do I should say, is to sew up here, and down here. But before I do that, I'm going to take out that center stitch that I put, that holding stitch in the beginning there, because that's how I'm going to turn the whole thing. So I pulled that out. It was just really to hold it while I went through all this. I know this can be a little tricky to figure out, but just make sure that those 3 folds are down here at the bottom, that this meets at the top. And as I say, sometimes you have to kind of adjust it a bit. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to sew, sew, sew. And I could put another pin, just, I don't have to, but sometimes that helps. So I'll go to the sewing machine, and I'm going to sew. I love making these bags. The folding is a little bit tricky, and I apologize if I'm not showing you completely how to do it. But the amounts of fabric that you use, the outer and the lining, are sort of flexible. It's like 2/3 of the outer fabric compared to the lining. So sort of a rule of thumb. Okay, so I've done that, and I didn't backstitch. And the reason I didn't backstitch is, first of all, I'm kind of lazy, but also, if I have to pull it out, it's kind of easier. So now I'm just going to cut off the corner there a bit, and cut off that corner. I'm not going to worry about that. Now this is the tricky part. This is where you start to make it look like a bag. So the first thing you want to do is you want to put your hands inside and find where that original seam was that you unplugged just now. So you're going to turn this inside out like so, you just keep turning, really, and then you just turn it again, pull that out, and then you turn till it gets to where it looks like something. You just turn, and it'll sort of fall into place. It's not that difficult. Says she. Gosh. Anyway, there is another little bit of stitching, of course, and you've got to put some sort of a closure on it. But okay, so I'm at this point now. So now I'm just going to sort of poke out that bottom corner a little bit, and that. And as I said, these have 2 pockets inside. And if you see, there's that, which is not, that's the original stitching that we used to turn the whole thing. And so you will have to whip stitch that, or use a straight stitch, or even glue it if you want. Now this is the flap, and the flap needs more work, of course, because it's not looking too much like a flap right now. So you can keep on with that, and sometimes it's just easier to get a pin and pull it out. So that's that side, pretty much pulled out pretty good. So in other words, one sewing seam, few folds, and you've got a 2-pocket bag. You can put a handle on it if you make it bigger. You can put a handle on it and make it into a over-the-shoulder bag, and you can make it small. You can make it any size you want. They're really cute. Because I live in the islands, we do a lot of this sort of thing. We do a lot of folding, a lot of origami. We use paper, even for a lot of the lei that are used for certain occasions. A lot of them are paper or fabric or ribbon folding. So you sort of get used to the idea. Okay, so there it is. There's my little pouch, and there will be 2 pockets. 1 pocket. You can't see too well, but there's the second pocket there. There's 1 pocket there. This one has to be stitched. Sorry that the camera went off just now. Anyway, here we are. So there's the 1 pocket, and the second pocket there. So there are 2 pockets, and as I say, they can be any size, any width. It's just up to you how you want them. And then there's the flap, and that folds down like that. This was some French fabric I used on this one, and usually I would either put a snap there, or I could put some Velcro underneath to hold it together. And you can decorate them how you like. So I'll show you again. This is probably easier to see on this lighter fabric. So this is the same thing, but this one is bigger. And if you open it up, you have the pockets inside. And I closed that one with a snap. Then this one, the same thing. And there are the 2 pockets inside that one. The other one is a little different because I only made 1 pocket, and I'm not showing you actually in this video how to do this one. This is even simpler, but it's kind of the same sort of thing. And I noticed that the Velcro has come off, so I'm going to have to glue that on more. It would be better if I had sewn it on first, but anyway, that's the other one. So those are the folded pockets, pocket folders, I guess they're called. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Goodbye now.